Alright, what is up you guys? Thank you for clicking on the video today. We're going to be working on some header wrap again. I've done it before. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card up here. If you're trying to wrap a stock Subaru manifold, that's a very good video to show you how to do it. But today, we're going to be doing something a little bit more tricky than a stock manifold. We're going to be wrapping this Tomei Unequal length header. So a lot more intricacies and networking going on here that we need to wrap around. So we're gonna have to come up with a game plan, figure out what I want to wrap and when I want to wrap it, and then get cracking away on this. So let me just give you a good look at this before we start covering it up with some wrap. But this is a beautiful piece of work right here. The welds are so perfect. The pipe, oh, it's polished to perfection. Look at all those welds. This coupler, or collector, is a thing of beauty. It's a cast collector that they welded to the pipes, four into one. Just amazing quality here. Love this thing. Very pretty. But we got to cover it up with some wrap. And then also, this is very neat. This up pipe here, 3-bolt flange for better sealing. But also, if you look inside, it's not straight through. There's a little narrow section. And Tomei says that is a venturi. And it's supposed to help with turbo spool. So I know there's a lot of controversy out there about wrapping headers. Let me just explain to you why I'm wrapping my header. If you're not aware, a lot of people say that when you wrap your header, it can lock in moisture and it'll cause your header to rust, or it'll cause your header to overheat and stress crack. There's a lot of things said about header wrap, but a lot of header manufacturers, they say that their warranty will be voided if you wrap your header, and I think it's due to some of those reasons. I'm not really worried about the moisture thing because I don't daily this car. I do not drive it in the rain unless I get like randomly caught in a little storm. But it's San Diego, it barely rains here, and I don't drive it in the rain. I don't hit puddles. It's not gonna get wet, so not worried about that. And then as far as trapping in too much heat, as long as you wrap it with a 1/4 inch overlap and you don't make it too thick, it shouldn't overheat the header. It should allow the right amount of heat to be locked in, and it won't bake certain spots. And then beyond that, this header by Tomei comes with wrap. Tomei designed this header to be wrapped. Tomei made this package here to offer the best spool for a street car. And when you're running a big turbo, at least for me, I don't want that big lag. So everything I do exhaust related, I want it to help improve the spool of the big turbo. And that's what everything here does. This 4-into-1 collector, it's supposed to provide better airflow to come out here and spool a turbo faster. Same thing with the Venturi. That's supposed to get a higher airspeed coming through to speed up the turbo, get it to spool quicker. And then also, the heat wrap. The heat wrap also does a big part in locking in the heat. The more heat wrap, it locks in the heat into the manifold. And when you have hotter exhaust temperatures, it acts as a longer runner. So we all know long tube headers make more power than short tubes. So when you have hotter air and it's acting like it's a long tube header, you're going to make more power. And then on top of that, the hotter air has a higher airspeed, so it's going to spool the turbo faster. And that's the reason people also run an unequal length header. Unequal length headers, you get it really hot right here, and it offers a better spool up. And same thing with the way that the exhaust bursts come through on this design. Is everything with this design is prioritizing spool. And then on top of that, one big reason, it keeps the Subaru rumble. But without further ado, let's get into the wrap. Okay, so first thing I'm going to wrap is going to be the up pipe, just because it's a simple shape, and I'm going to sort of get warmed up. So I'm going to use the leftover DEI titanium wrap that I have. So with this wrap, you have a sewn edge, which is this side, and then you just have like a kind of a looped over edge. You want the sewn edge to be on whatever side you start, because you're at the end you're gonna have it be zip tied. So you want the sewn edge to face the collector so that you're overlapping on the non-sewn edge. I'm gonna start up here and I'm gonna work my way down. I'm gonna start it with the sewn edge on this side. And now to get a good start to it, I'm going to fold this over just to kind of hide the frame. So I'm gonna tuck it over like that, and then I'm gonna hold this. And the first wrap, you just want to fully cover the starting point. Covered it, and then I got this EGT bung right there, so you gotta kind of wrap around that. So I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna get a 1/4 inch overlap right there, and then try that. Keep the 1/4 inch overlap. And now when you come up on a radius like this, you want to keep the 1/4 inch overlap on the outside, but in order to fit the radius, you're going to have to kind of overlap the inside. So now to end these, you don't want to just zip tie it because it's going to fray. So what you want to do, you want to tuck in both the corners and then fold it underneath itself. And these work sort of like zip ties. And then cinch this up around it. Then we cut this about 1 inch away. I like to take this and fold it in half. Like that. And tuck it back into the lock and then fold it over the lock. That's how it should look as your finished product. And you got a nice wrapped up pipe. So here's a closer look. You can see my spacing is nice and consistent until I get into here, but we still have coverage on the top. It's still a 1/4 inch overlap. And then to get around this, you can see it kind of folds up, but that's okay because it's covering all of this area here. So if it bunches up like that, don't worry about it. And then yeah, so you can see this is why you wrap it with the sewn side facing the collector, because the sewn side is on all the seams now. It keeps it from unraveling. So yeah, there's just a closer look at the finished product with wrapping. And this is the easy one, so now I gotta deal with all that mess. All right, so the first pipe that I'm gonna wrap is this one right here. And I'm gonna start right here at this weld and wrap it down here so that I can put the tie right there. Because the way that these pipes are bent and spaced, I'm not gonna be able to wrap them all individually up to here. So at some point I'm gonna have to wrap the collectors 4 and probably wrap it down to here. So that's why I'm starting it here, so there's a slight overlap with the wrap when it's all 4 around there. So Alright, so there's the first section wrapped. I had to unwrap it and redo it because I didn't have enough, so I had to kind of go a little lighter in some spots, but we got full coverage. It's a little tight right in there. Okay, so the next pipe that I have to wrap is the one for cylinder number 3, which is this one right here. And it seems like I can sneak in a piece. I kind of put in one of my scrap pieces here. This is about as far as I can get it. But once I have to do the other pipes, I'm gonna have to wrap all 4 collectors to this point. So like right here, this is how far the 4 collectors are gonna wrap. So this is gonna get it to right about there. So I'm gonna try to cut a piece to length and snake it down here and try to get it to wrap from here up to the flange right here. Okay, so now it's time to wrap cylinder 4 pipe, which is this one right here. This one's going to require a little bit more finessing in certain spots, but the closest I can start it is right over here. So I'm going to start it right there, work my way down, tie it off right there. But I removed the blade from this right here. And I have to wrap around these posts, and then I'm going to wrap right here. It says in the instructions to leave this exposed and then wrap it after, or it also says test fit it without it being wrapped and then lock this into place where you need to and then wrap it over the whole thing. But I think if I just wrap around this section, it'll still allow me to like loosen the bolts, and the wrap should give it enough slack to stretch this joint if need be. So it still should be functional, and then I'll just leave these plate parts exposed. As well as coming around here, I have to wrap around these 2 posts so that I can put this Tomei badge on it after it's wrapped. That's the only difference with this pipe, but yeah, we're gonna start here and go all the way down to here. And then yeah, also wrap around the bung right here as well. So we got a lot of stuff to wrap around on this, this pipe. Alright, check that out. Looks pretty good. There's some exposed spots, but nothing crazy. I didn't want to wrap this too incredibly tight because then it would cause some issues with sliding. And yeah, we got some spots right there. And if you see me wrap this part by the bung, I folded it in half so that it kind of created like a V right here. And then the other side I folded it in half too, so it created a V. And then the pattern got back on loop. But the wrap's kind of thick in this spot, so hopefully that doesn't cause any issues with trapping in too much heat, but time will tell. Last pipe I have to wrap is going to be this main collector into this section. I'm going to start wrapping it just on this cylinder number 2 pipe right here. And it looks like this is going to use up pretty much all the wrap I have left. So 50 feet seems to be about the right length, but we'll see how much I have left over after this is done. So far this is like the only amount that I've wasted from this roll, so about 2 feet. Alright, so here's the finished product. You can see it ended up all nicely, but got nice, tight, consistent wraps around. And this transition zone was a bit tough because of how close it got to this pipe right here. So if you can see right here, it kind of got bunched up because I needed to get enough layers so that there wasn't a gap right here. But it doesn't look that bad being bunched up right there, especially when you look at this outside radius, and it's just perfect. It looks awesome. Yeah, and even when you look in here, there's no exposed pipe. Only thing is I left this section bare because this necking down was causing a lot of trouble trying to wrap it, and especially with this bung in the way. If it was just this necking down, I could have figured it out. So I just left that. I tried putting some stuff around here to see if I could get it to look right, but I think it's just gonna look worse if I try to wrap it. And it's probably not going to stay on either because this is really slippery, and there's nothing for it to really keep it from sliding down here and creating an exposed area and the wrap just being flopping around. So we're just going to leave that bare. I don't think it's going to cause any issues. It'll give the exhaust a little cool down spot right here. This is what it looks like underneath. I think I did a pretty good job. Looks pretty smooth. And then we got the up pipe on there. So that little gap don't look too bad right there. It's just going into more wrap, so should be fine. This will look real nice. It'll work real nice. Keep all the air in, hot air in. So one thing I've noticed doing some of this exhaust strap is that it's very important to plan it out, and that's kind of what I did. Like you see right here, this is kind of confusing, but I wrote which pipes I needed to wrap and in what order. And doing so, you can see that I only used 4 of these steel zip ties. So I don't have zip ties here or underneath the wrap bunching everything up, because I strategically planned out what I was going to wrap and at what time, so that everything blended together nicely. So thank you guys for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. This turned out real nice. Stay tuned for the video where we're going to be installing this onto the car. So if you liked the video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you know somebody who might like this video, please share it with them. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.